Without my loving wife, I would have no clue of all the things I do wrong. Today, I'm going to recap a 2010 action thriller film called The Traveler. The film opens with a dim scene where a young girl, Mary Black, is seen frolicking with her cat in a wooded area. Initially, she appears joyful and content with her feline companion, but when shining her cat bolts, she goes after it. Tragically, a worst fear of every parent unfolds for Mary. A predator takes her life, and in an instant, the world shifts. On a silent Christmas Eve, at a New York police precinct, two officers, Hawkins and Pine, come in soaked from the downpour. They deliberately irk Gulloy, a desk officer in charge of tidying the precinct. In another space, Jeannie and Sherwood are engrossed in paperwork and seem to get quite close to each other. Upon entering, Hawkins and Pine jest with them. They also bemoan the lack of cell reception due to a raging storm, dampening their festive mood. In a different room, Detective Black listens to a voicemail from his distant wife, expressing her need for space. Their bond changed dramatically after the tragic loss of Mary. The pain of losing Mary, especially given his profession, has deeply scarred them. Their emotional wounds are evident, and Detective Black finds it challenging to perform his duties. Soon, a cryptic man steps into the precinct, approaching Gulloy with a wish to admit to a crime. Gulloy, sensing danger, beckons the other officers. As they gather, Black assumes command, leading the stranger to the questioning room. However, Black scolds Gulloy for drawing his firearm at the visitor. Shortly, stormtroopers from the locality notify them of a highway incident that will occupy the night to resolve, resulting in road diversions and ramp closures. Curious, Hawkins queries the stranger about his crime confession, only to be met with minimal response and some unnerving mental manipulation which angers him. Black intervenes abruptly and starts the interrogation by seeking his identity. Oddly, the stranger identifies himself as nobody. Suspicious of a potential ruse, Black cautions him about the repercussions of fraudulent declarations. Yet the man puzzlingly states that by nightfall, Black will be convinced of his crime. Growing uneasy, Black orders a routine process on this Mr. Nobody, like fingerprinting and photographing for system checks. Suddenly, Mr. Nobody, with an alarming speed, notices and comments about Black's personalized pen, which reads, "To the best daddy in the world," seemingly taunting him, and then shockingly admits to the killing of 6 individuals. Elsewhere, the duo, Jeannie and Sherwood, indulge in a tender moment, feigning a kiss beneath a mistletoe. Suddenly, a ghostly silhouette of Mr. Nobody appears at the doorway, startling Jeannie, only to vanish instantly. This unnerving experience sours the atmosphere, prompting her to engage in another activity. At the same time, as Hawkins photographs Mr. Nobody, he is horrified to see blood oozing from Mr. Nobody's head in the viewfinder. Disturbed, he inspects further but discovers nothing amiss. Subsequently, Pine attempts to fingerprint him, only to be astounded that Mr. Nobody lacks fingerprints on every digit. The enigma of Mr. Nobody deepens with every effort to discern his identity. Gulloy is then summoned to confine him. As they navigate the corridor, the illumination behaves erratically, flickering and smoldering simultaneously. As Mr. Nobody is escorted into the cell, he emits a haunting whistle that captivates Gulloy. To his disbelief, upon turning, Gulloy witnesses Mr. Nobody advancing towards him, even though he just secured him inside. However, when Mr. Nobody vanishes, a quick inspection reveals him still incarcerated. In Black's chamber, the officers relay the inexplicable absence of Mr. Nobody's fingerprints, pondering potential explanations, but all seem improbable. 2 hours into their nocturnal duty, persistent lighting issues plague them. To exacerbate matters, Gulloy mentions that all spare bulbs have been shattered, another perplexing event. When Hawkins examines Mr. Nobody's photographs, he discerns only the attire, devoid of the head and hands. Determined, he opts to confront him directly. Yet Mr. Nobody sustains his enigmatic demeanor, reiterating that he's nobody. Hawkins' curiosity shifts to Mr. Nobody's haunting whistle, which he identifies as Mozart's Requiem, the Death Mass. Disturbed, Hawkins hastens to vacate the vicinity. Concurrently, Black grapples with a strained phone conversation with his estranged wife. Celebrating Christmas away from kin is challenging, but familial tensions make it even more heart-wrenching, hampering his rapport with their offspring. Memories of Mary resurface, adding to the night's grim mood. Black instructs Pine to bring Mr. Nobody for further probing. However, when Pine seeks Hawkins' aid, he appears disoriented. Eerily, the lights act up once more, portending potential danger. Approaching Cell 4, they find it deserted. Instead, Mr. Nobody is located in Cell 3, along with a baffling deck of cards. Elsewhere, a restless Hawkins smokes. Haunted by memories of a night, they coerced a vagabond into admitting to Mary's murder. When Pine approaches, Hawkins shares his unsettling observation. Mr. Nobody bears a striking resemblance to that vagrant. He muses over the ominous possibility that their gathering isn't mere happenstance, recalling the harrowing night of the Drifter's torture. Nonetheless, Pine dismisses the coincidence and tempts Hawkins with the prospect of post-shift drinks to bring him back inside. In the interrogation chamber, Mr. Nobody offers a detailed confession about his inaugural kill, vividly describing a lady with cerulean tresses and elongated limbs, donned in a scarlet gown. Concurrently, Hawkins decides to inspect some cells located downstairs. As Mr. Nobody spins the tale of his murderous feat, Hawkins unexpectedly finds himself incarcerated in a pitch-black cell, suspecting a practical joke from Gulloy. As Mr. Nobody's narrative unfolds, a sinister force assails Hawkins, mimicking the brutal treatment meted out to the Drifter. Hawkins undergoes a savage whipping and experiences the agony of having his tongue severed using the scissors that had previously gone missing from Gulloy. The intensity of his agonized outcry resonates throughout the precinct. By the time they reach him, it's tragically too late. Hawkins is discovered, having been flayed to demise and bound to the casement, showcasing a back tattoo precisely depicted by Mr. Nobody. Upon re-entering the interrogation area, Black observes Mr. Nobody's miraculously unshackled wrists. Without hesitation, he commands the immediate restraint of Mr. Nobody and secures the chamber before divulging to the pair the grim news of Hawkins' demise. Soon after, the group convenes and Black instructs Pine and Gulloy to score the exterior. Braving the relentless deluge, a sudden thud atop Gulloy's crown alarms him. With Pine's assistance, they unveil the lifeless feline, Shining, once Mary's beloved pet. In spite of this chilling revelation, Pine is adamant about inspecting the rooftop. Re-entering the precinct, they relay to their colleagues the discovery of the deceased cat once belonging to Mary. Exercising caution to spare Black's feelings due to his ongoing grief, they hesitated to mention Mary directly, but the peculiarity of their circumstances compelled them to vocalize it. Pine then recalls Hawkins' perturbed demeanor prior to his death, mentioning how eerily Mr. Nobody bore semblance to the Drifter they once brutalized. Abruptly, a vivid recollection of the Drifter's merciless torment ensues, illustrating the collective participation of the 6 officers. Compelled by desperation, Black unjustly pinned the crime on the Drifter owing to his proximity to the crime scene. He demanded each officer to inflict barbaric harm on the Drifter, disregarding his humanity, to extract a confession. The ordeal culminates with Black delivering a fatal wound using the pen once gifted by Mary. Their reprehensible act, a stark violation of their sworn duty, showcases their cruel treatment towards an individual proclaiming innocence. This grotesque memory they yearn to obliterate resurfaces, tormenting their very souls. As the weight of their deeds bears down, Black voices his remorse, while Sherwood attempts to rationalize their actions, speculating on the remote possibility of Mary's survival at that juncture. Yet, Gulloy candidly confronts them with the harsh reality. Mary had already been killed, and state police had neutralized the actual perpetrator, confirming the Drifter's innocence. This revelation ignites a fiery altercation between the two, culminating in Gulloy brandishing a shotgun menacingly. Black steps in, asserting that they are collectively culpable for the horrors of that fateful night. Gulloy interjects, highlighting that the Drifter remains comatose in Crestdale, directing his resentment at Black for the remorse he's submerged in. Black's insistence on fabricating a narrative that the Drifter had initiated the assault, compelling them to retaliate, exacerbates the tension. Suddenly, a cacophony of thunderous footsteps emanating from the rooftop diverts their attention. Black directs Pine and Gulloy to inspect the roof, while he, along with the couple, ensures Mr. Nobody's containment. Separated from Pine atop the roof, Gulloy becomes vulnerable to the ominous presence lurking there. As he's ensnared by a noose, Mr. Nobody vividly recounts his subsequent victim, characterizing him as a spineless spectator, destined to bear the ramifications of his passivity during the night of abuse. A memory resurfaces, revealing Gulloy's evident distress, yet his inaction during the drifter's torment, thereby implicating him in the crime. When Pine reinitiates his search for Gulloy, he's confronted with the grim reality of Gulloy's demise, a chilling reminder of the drifter's unjust punishment. This sequence of events strengthens their suspicion towards Mr. Nobody, even as he remains restrained within the interrogation chamber. As they prepare to relocate him to a holding cell, he utters a series of sacrilegious remarks, eerily resonating with the string of fatalities within the precinct. Seizing the moment, Black probes Mr. Nobody regarding Mary's murder the preceding year, drawing parallels between him and the drifter, both enigmatic figures devoid of fingerprints. Despite his efforts, Black's queries are met with ambiguity. Subsequently, Pine embarks on a mission to verify the drifter's current condition, contemplating his potential involvement in the unfolding events. At Crestdale Care Center, they are met with the shocking revelation that the drifter had passed away that very evening at 8:15 p.m., coinciding precisely with Mr. Nobody's arrival as documented by Gulloy. This eerie coincidence sends chills down their spines, prompting Black to advocate for external reinforcement. However, their attempts at communication are thwarted by a disrupted signal. Adopting a strategic approach, they split into duos, with the couple braving the tempestuous elements to seek assistance. Their journey leads them to a forest, where a trooper vehicle is stationed. Concurrently, within the precinct, Pine and Black continue their surveillance on Mr. Nobody, who persists with his ominous confessions. The moment Mr. Nobody alludes to his forthcoming victim, Black urgently instructs Pine to establish radio contact with the couple, who are currently investigating the trooper cruiser's surroundings. Oddly enough, Jeannie tunes into the radio, only to receive a chilling transmission from the past. Likewise, Sherwood intercepts a similar radio message from an adjacent car, depicting the gruesome demise of Mary. Drawn to inspect the woods, Sherwood inadvertently steps into a well-laid snare. Back at the station, as Black grasps Mr. Nobody's chilling tale, hinting at Sherwood's impending doom, he grows frantic. Despite his desperate attempts to intercept Mr. Nobody's narrative, Black finds him eerily elusive, with bullets failing to find their mark. Concurrently, as the eerie tale unfolds, Sherwood confronts a terrifying ordeal. He is yanked deeper into the woods and meets a grisly end when he's impaled in the gut, his insides gruesomely exposed. The tool of his demise, the shovel, eerily mirrors the instrument he used against the drifter, a sinister twist of fate. Stricken, he succumbs to his injuries. Jeannie's anguish is intensified when she stumbles upon his mutilated corpse, truncating their love story. Panicked, she makes her way to the vehicle, intending to head back to the precinct. Her heightened state of distress causes her to lose control, drawing attention. She rushes to Black and Pine, relaying the devastating news of Sherwood's death. Black pieces together the macabre puzzle, deducing that Mr. Nobody's narrations act as death sentences. Drawing parallels from history, he recalls how guillotine operators would isolate themselves, haunted by the dread that the souls they dispatched might return seeking revenge. They theorize that the drifter's spirit has reincarnated as Mr. Nobody, exacting retribution. Black finds himself in the eye of the storm, accused of catalyzing this chain of horrors through his unwarranted persecution of the drifter. He attempts to justify his actions as a desperate father's bid to safeguard his child. The group strategizes an escape, opting to use Jeannie's squad car. However, their exit is thwarted by the malevolent spirit, resulting in a catastrophic accident. Without warning, Mr. Nobody embarks on yet another sinister narrative, one he deems the most horrific. Trapped within the vehicle, Jeannie faces a suffocating end. Black and Pine watch helplessly, their efforts to shatter the car's windows in vain, only breaking after it's tragically too late. As Jeannie meets her cruel fate, memories resurface, casting her role in the drifter's torment in a haunting light. Rattled by the relentless carnage, Pine resolves to confront Mr. Nobody. However, his aggressive approach proves fatal. Inside the cell, Mr. Nobody retaliates with brutal force, reminiscent of Pine's earlier assault on the Drifter. Invoking an old adage about revenge, he gruesomely disfigures Pine. By the time Black reaches the scene, Pine is barely recognizable. Overwhelmed with sorrow, Black is left desolate, grappling with the loss of his entire squad in a single night. After witnessing such horrifying events, he becomes unsteady and aimlessly roams the nearby streets, haunted by visions of Mr. Nobody. Regardless of his wandering, Black finds himself returning to the station. There, Mr. Nobody ominously greets him, declaring that all paths that night converge towards him, marking the start and imminent end of their twisted saga. But as Mr. Nobody prepares to narrate another fatal tale, Black takes the initiative, preempting his narration with a confession of his own. He acknowledges the grave injustice he meted out to an apparently blameless man, only to reveal the shocking twist. The man wasn't innocent. Black unveils the truth that he himself had taken Mary's life, and that he was the notorious child slayer. Coming to terms with this realization, he understands that his belief in the man's innocence inadvertently set the vengeful chain of events in motion. What further fuels this malevolent vendetta is the year-long coma-induced dreams of vengeance, so potent that they manifest into reality. As Mr. Nobody prepares to recite his final deathly narrative, with Black being the subject, Black desperately resorts to a unique defense. He uses a pen to damage his own ears, ensuring he can't hear the fatal words. Seeking refuge, he scrambles under his office desk. Here, amidst the chaos, he's visited by a vivid vision of Mary, extending a hand to aid him. As Mr. Nobody breaches the office, Mary divulges the key to vanquishing him, speaking his true name. Embracing the identity of Nobody is the source of his power. Empowered with this revelation, Black confronts the entity, confidently declaring him as Stanley Harperton. Caught off guard, Stanley's momentary distraction allows Black to seize the advantage. He fires at Stanley, wounding his corporeal form, which subsequently vanishes into oblivion. The tale concludes with a poignant reunion between Black and Mary, a soulful connection that signals her peaceful transition. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.